He looked around the room and realized something that made his stomach drop. Everyone in that meeting knew it was pointless. Everyone knew it could have been an email. Everyone knew they were wasting their lives in a room that smelled like stale coffee and recycled air. And they all showed up anyway. Not because they had to, because they were terrified of what it would mean if they didn't. He'd been sitting in that meeting for 43 minutes. He'd contributed nothing. He'd learned nothing. He'd decided nothing. But he couldn't leave. Leaving would mean admitting he didn't need to be here. And he was very, very good at needing to be here. He nodded when the speaker paused. He typed something into his notes app. He checked his email under the table. He adjusted his calendar to look full. He did everything except the one thing that would have actually helped. He didn't walk out. Instead, he sat there, performing presence, performing engagement, performing the idea that this meeting was essential to his existence. And he wasn't alone. He looked around the room. Everyone was doing the same thing. Nodding, typing, checking, adjusting, performing. Nobody was doing the work, but everyone looked like they were. And that, right there, is the great unspoken truth of modern work. We have built an entire economy around the appearance of effort, not effort itself, the appearance of it. We fill our calendars so nobody asks us what we're actually doing. We answer emails at 10 p.m. so nobody questions our commitment. We show up to meetings we don't need to attend so nobody doubts our relevance. We are drowning in the performance of busyness, and we are absolutely terrified of what happens if we stop. He knew a guy once. Guy was brilliant, wrote code that powered entire systems, could solve in an hour what took others a week. But he didn't look busy. He'd finish his work by noon and spend the afternoon reading, learning, thinking. They called him the guy who doesn't work hard enough. They didn't say it to his face, but they said it. And when layoffs came, he was first on the list. Not because his work was bad, because his performance wasn't good enough. That's the thing nobody says out loud. The system doesn't reward results. It rewards visibility. And visibility is not the same as value. The average worker spends 3.1 hours a day on communication alone. Emails, chats, meetings, status updates. Not production, not creation, just talking about work. Half the day goes to signaling. Half the day goes to making sure everyone thinks you're working. And we're all exhausted by it. Not by the work, by the performance. He didn't set out to become a performer. He showed up to his first job eager to contribute, to build, to matter. He built. He contributed. He mattered. Nobody noticed. He worked late. He met deadlines. He over-delivered. Nobody noticed. Then he started answering emails at 9 p.m. He started filling his calendar. He started saying yes to everything. Suddenly, everyone noticed. Wow, his manager said. You're really grinding. He was doing less actual work, but he was finally visible. And that changed something in him. Not overnight, but slowly, insidiously. The kind of change you don't notice until you look back and realize you don't recognize yourself anymore. Here's what happens when you perform busy. First, you stop trusting yourself. Because every time you say yes, when you mean no, you learn that your own instincts are unreliable. You become a stranger to yourself. Second, you stop trusting others. Because everyone else is performing too. And once you see the performance, it's impossible to unsee it. Third, you stop trusting the work itself. Because you've lost the ability to tell the difference between what matters and what merely looks like it matters. And then, one day, you're sitting in a meeting that could have been an email, a meeting that everyone is pretending is essential, a meeting that is consuming 43 minutes of your life that you will never get back. And you feel nothing. No anger, no frustration, just a hollow, dull ache that has become your baseline. There's a story he heard once. A man goes to a wedding. It's a beautiful wedding. Flowers, music, speeches. Everyone is crying. Everyone is laughing. Everyone is telling stories about how they just knew the couple was meant to be together. Afterward, the man's friend leans over and whispers, "They're getting divorced next year." "What?" the man says. "But they just got married. They looked so happy." "They are happy," the friend says. "But only if you don't look too closely." That's what busyness is. A beautiful wedding. A beautiful performance. Everyone nodding. Everyone agreeing. Everyone pretending that the work matters, that the meetings matter, that the calendar matters. And nobody saying the quiet part out loud. This doesn't matter. We're just too scared to admit it. Why are we so scared? Because if we stop performing, we have to face the questions. Is this actually what I want to do? Is any of this making a difference? Who am I when I'm not working? Those questions are terrifying because they don't have easy answers, because they might lead us to places we don't want to go, because they might require us to change. And change is harder than performance. So we perform. We fill our calendars. We answer emails. We show up. We nod. We pretend. We trade our lives for the appearance of them. But here's the thing. The performance is not sustainable. It drains you. It hollows you. It erases you, slowly, until you forget you were ever there. And by the time you realize what you've lost, the work you actually loved, the person you used to be, the life you wanted to live, you're so deep in the performance that you don't know how to stop. So you keep going, nodding, typing, adjusting, showing up, performing. The meeting ended. He walked out. He checked his email. He added another meeting to his calendar. He did everything he was supposed to do. And then, for a moment, he paused. He was standing in the hallway. No one was looking at him. No one was expecting anything from him. For just a moment, he was invisible, and he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Quiet. It was terrifying. For a moment, he didn't know who he was without the performance. But then, in the quiet, he heard something. A voice. His voice. Saying something he hadn't said in a long time. I don't want to pretend anymore. And that, right there, is the moment everything can change. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to burn your calendar. You don't have to walk into your boss's office and announce that you're done performing. You just have to stop, for a moment, and ask yourself one question. What am I so afraid of losing that I'm willing to lose myself to keep it? That question will save you, or it will terrify you. Either way, it's the most important one you'll ever ask. Because the performance is costing you more than any reward it could ever give you. And the only way out, the only way to stop performing, is to finally, quietly, admit that you already have. He didn't know if he could stop. He didn't know if he even wanted to. But for the first time in years, he knew what he was doing. And that was enough.